like you had to freeze the bombs with the cooler was always like the weirdest thing to me, especially because there's this whole thing in the so if you play it on the harder difficulties, the places where the places and the amount of C4 that you have to find, it changes. So if you play on I think it's European Extreme, you have to like freeze a bomb that is placed on the back of an enemy soldier. And on that difficulty, if you get spotted, you lose. Like, it's not like, oh, you enter combat phase. No, you just lose.
Like, you know me, I haven't played Metal Gear.
Oh.
But I'm just like imagining this scenario happening in real life. It's like, okay, hold on. I have to use this like weird chemical to freeze the C4 so it doesn't blow up this person. He turns around like, who the fuck are you? And then they trigger the bomb and they fucking explode, and that's why you lose.
Well, it's not even that like it blows up the person. Apparently these bombs are strong enough to bring down an oil platform. So it's like, how the fuck did you mount this to the back of a dude?
Very carefully.
Very carefully. I'm just curious. Like, does the dude know, or is he not in on it?
I'm assuming the fact you're trying to freeze him without him noticing, they're probably not entirely in on it. Like I said, it triggers by like maybe like heightened blood pressure or some shit. Because like fuck,
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're all suicide bombers. Who knows?
Who knows? It's Metal Gear. Everything is up for debate.
But no. But like we were just talking about Metal Gear. You had a reason for bringing this up because it's such a very good parallel.
Yeah, because apparently I've been sent a parcel from Germany that I have to go and pick up in like this tool store, which I don't know if that's like indicative of what it is that I have received, or if it's just like the closest place that GPS or UPS can hand over the parcels in my area, because I haven't received any of those since I moved. So I decided like, okay, I'm just gonna go and get those today. And then like I look out the window and oh, would you look at that? We have a fucking blizzard. We went from no snow to this overnight. So that's been fun. So I decided to not go. Probably gonna wait for tomorrow where hopefully it's calmed down.
Hopefully, like, the blizzard, like, cools down the bombs enough so it doesn't explode.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it out in the snow just to make sure.
Like, I don't know if this is, like, a normal colloquialism for, like, everyone else, but, like, I always assume, like, if it's a package you don't know, it's probably a bomb, because my parents, like, ingrained that into me. Like, growing up, they would actually, like, go through shit I would order on Amazon, like, shake the box, and if they didn't know what it was immediately, they thought it was a bomb, they toss it in the recycling bin.
I'll be 100% honest with you right now. I think that is very much a American thing.
Probably.
I don't recall if there's ever been, like, a package bomb or whatever in Denmark.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. Hold on, let me actually look it up real quick.
Alright, because this is like a weird morbid topic, but at the same time, it's like, man, you're just gonna be out here flexing on me, not having any of those, pesky parcel bombs that just randomly get shipped through the UPS.
I was like, oh, this is tragic. There's a package bomb news story here in this Danish newspaper. Oh, in Austin. Austin, Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, it had to be American.
Oh no, here's one. No, wait, it's the French, I don't know, embassy? I think it's the word.
Embassy. French embassy in Austin. Who the fuck would be mad at the French?
I don't know.
Is it because of like the whole flag debate? Because like I know like we saw a story recently where like apparently they changed the flags for France.
Then
I made a joke. It's in the general chat. It got shared a couple days ago, but like, I didn't read the whole thing. All I know is like, supposedly, either the person in like the big government building in France either changed the flag or put up a flag that had the different colors, and nobody noticed for like half a year.
Fuck it, it's probably fine.
It's probably fine. It's like, it's probably some other country's flag that got mixed up. What do you expect when you have like flags that are just 3 fucking colors?
I mean, like if it's not a like a different country flag, it's probably a flag for someone's sexuality or something. Because there's a fucking flag for everything these days. So you know what? Probably.
I am transsexual.
Like I'm transsexual.
I think what it was the I think like the blue and the red was like flipped and nobody noticed. So it's still the same flag, but it's just put on the flagpole the wrong way. But like nobody noticed. So people, when someone did, they thought they changed the flag, and it became this whole thing. It's just.
I think like if you come to the Danish flag and like someone switches the colors around there, so because we have white, like we have a red flag with a white cross on it. If you flip that around, you get a white flag with a red cross on it, and then it's just England.
Shit, you're right.
The blue was a different tone. That was it.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Bunny.
That's
even dumber.
That's even dumber. Like, I don't fucking go with my color picker tool every time that I have to fucking draw a Danish flag. I go, is this red? Yes. Is this white? Yes. Fucking go. Like
that sounds silly. That sounds like immensely silly. Again, like I didn't read the whole thing. All I just know, literally, I saw the headline and then I made the jokes. Oh, I have the flag for you, and I just put up a white flag emoji because Americans think the French just surrender.
That's always like the funniest thing to me. That there's this whole thing about the French they're cowards because they gave up or something. Denmark gave up before the French did, but no one's talking about that.
I think America just has it out for France because when we were in our infancy stage, like France held a couple territories, and then we had to fight them to get. Actually, I forget. Again, I am not a U.S. history buff because I tried to like yeet past it as soon as possible. But I know if America, French, and Canada all have this weird slurry of like relationships I wasn't paying attention to. So in the grand global scheme of things, you could probably call Denmark bigger cowards. We just don't like the French because we're American.
That's fair.
That's fair.
It's like we're not necessarily angry at cowards. We're angry at you.
Yeah, exactly. God bless. So yeah. Hi everybody.
Hi everyone. So Cloudy, what have you been up to this week? Since we last spoke.
We I had another D&D game. It was very fun. I think I mentioned, like, every time I mention it, there's always some weird concepts, but, like, we're trying to, like, we're in, like, the Feywild, which is, like, the realm where all the fucking fairies are, and we're trying to, like, speed run our way across the entire realm to go to, like, this weird divine court hearing, because the law system between gods is so fucked. We're basically like trying to like break in and like kind of become the lawyers to a god, so the god doesn't die.
So you're just gonna kick the door down and go objection in your best Phoenix way?
Basically, yes. That is the plan. That is the plan for this arc. We're in happy-go-lucky fairy crazy magic world. And the ending of it, the big crescendo, instead of a big fight against the big super mega dragon, no, we're going to a fucking court hearing. We're gonna play Ace Attorney for a bit.
So if you guys are listening to music during these things, I would like to remind you that there is actually like a string quartet version of the Phoenix Wright music, and it's fucking bangers, all of it.
I'm gonna mention that to our druid because she's the one who runs the music during our games, and they will be good. I'm gonna make sure that when we have the point, I want to have like the pursuit theme to be playing during the big fuck you moment.
I can assure you that there is indeed a string version of that as well, and it's fucking amazing.
Yes. But yeah, aside from like Divine Fairy Court going on in my D&D game right now, I watched Arcane.
You
thankfully.
did, and we're going to talk about that.
We have lots of thoughts on it. I might trigger somebody.
Oh,
because I will say, I'm gonna say this right now. I love this show entirely. I don't have any issues with it, but I do have an observation that will make people mad. But okay. I love, but everything between from like the storytelling to the execution to God bless the animation staff and like the character design, everything about it is so fucking great. But I just have a very small observation that makes me laugh that will make other people mad. We'll get to that when we get to that. And I actually have one more thing I had to bring up.
Yeah?
I have ordered all the parts for my new computer, and I'm ordering it. And it's supposed to come today. Although, here's the thing. I use my brother's Amazon account because he has Prime and I don't. And if I were going to have to buy Prime, it would all be sent, like, I think I'd have to pay like an extra $117 just to use Prime for this one purchase. And that fucking sucks. So what ended up happening is like, hey, my bro, can you give me your Prime? He's like, okay. I order all the parts. I thought it was going straight to me. I accidentally sent everything to my fucking mom's house. So part of my adventure, because I was too excited to buy all my things on Cyber Monday, I have to drive back to my mom's house.
Cloudy.
For my fucking parts.
Why are you like this? Well, like, okay, like, at the same time, now that you're there, you can then pick up fucking Devil May Cry. God damn.
Yeah, no, I intend to.
God damn it, Cloudy.
So here's you want to know the fucked up thing?
Oh, that's not the fucked up. Yes, hit me.
Okay. So, my dad wanted to play Bloodborne. He wanted to borrow my game for Bloodborne, and I told him, "Oh, I accidentally left it at my mom's house because I'm a fucking idiot. So you just play over there. I'm gonna pick it up this weekend anyway." My dad takes the Bloodborne case out of the Devil May Cry case that he brought for me. Under the disc of the okay, so you know how I told you last week he brought me the case. It was Bloodborne in the DMC disc.
Yeah.
So under the Bloodborne disc was
Cloudy.
the disc.
Are we going to fight? Are we going to have a fight?
It was a disc for DMC. Oh, but fuck! I don't even know how the fuck that one happened. I'm going to be honest with you, Chief.
So it's not even that you put like wrong games in the wrong discs. You fucking double deck that shit in the wrong case.
Yeah.
You're the type of person I would fight with my bare ass knuckles when I worked in nondescript video game retailer.
Yeah. I mean, you would have got... I mean, in that situation, you would have gotten 2 games for the price of 1, so... Now, that's just horrendously bad. But I'm going this weekend, so I'm gonna pick up everything. I've organized every single fucking disc in my house the night I got back here. So don't worry. All I need now is to grab DMC, which has Bloodborne and DMC in it.
I swear, like you're the dude that they're trying to fight in that horrible looking new Final Fantasy game, where it's like we got to kill chaos. That's you. That's you. They're after. They're out for your ass.
I am just chaos at that point, man. Fuck chaos.
Have you fucking real quick? Have you seen anything from that game? I don't recall what it's called.
I've only seen one thing, and it was a clip that Raj and my friend, who also showed me Arcane, showed me, and it's just a clip where like this lady is like super sad, trying to explain her backstory. It's like, man, this is why I had to be chaos. I want to. It was that, like, if everyone fights against me, then they sacrifice me to get rid of all the evil. And the guy's just like, man, fuck that.
No, he just goes,
and he just puts
bullshit.
in his headphones. No, bullshit. And he puts on his headphones and starts playing Papa Roach. And fucking walks out. And then the scene fades and everyone's just following him. And the song's still playing the whole time. And then when the song ends, he just takes his headphones out and just talks to them normally. And I'm like, did you just fucking walk and not say anything for like an hour?
It is one of the worst things I have ever seen. It is so fucking... So, and the worst part is, there's ways that you can do this, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna fix the scene real quick. So as the girl here is like, oh, I'm so sad, yada, yada, yada. As she's doing this, demons are coming up behind the crew. And like, the protagonist is like looking at this chick. And she's like, oh, I'm so sad. And his friends are going, hey, Jimmy, oh, this is starting to look a little bad. And then like, once she's done, he smirks and goes, bullshit. Puts on music, and then becomes the fight music as you then beat these guys out. And as you're fighting, it slowly fades to black, and then you cut outside, you see the protagonist, no, you don't see the protagonist, you just see one of the demons or whatever get flung through the door outside, and now they're outside, and he stops the music. That way you're telling, oh, I put the music on to have a fight, and then you showing that I listened to this music while I was fighting. Now the fight is over. I can stop the music and we can continue onwards. But they don't do that. Instead, they just put on fucking Limp Bizkit or Papa Roach or some shit for 5 seconds that it takes between them changing scenes. It is the fucking dumbest shit I have ever seen.
Honestly, it is just so nonsensical, and it's just so fucking stupid. I can't help but unironically love it. It is one of the worst things, but it's simultaneously one of the best, because who just doesn't understand basic storytelling so fucking hard you just do that? I'm like...
do you want me to tell you who doesn't?
Nomura. I know, but it's just... It's just so stupid. I can't help but unironically love it. It's great. It's horrible, but it's great. But we're not here to talk about Nomura. We're here to talk about Arcane, aren't we?
Yeah, okay. So we're here to talk about Arcane. You finally watched it. And
I watched it in one sitting with my friend.
Yeah, and you were kind enough to give me live updates as I requested. Which was really fun to witness, just because like there was that one point where you called something and you just sent me a picture of like Prometheus giving Cloudy the ability of foresight or some shit, and I was fucking howling.
No. It was that fucking meme where it's like there's a group of kids. And I put the text Cloudy, and there's another kid holding a ball, and I said it's Apollo, and he's about to throw the ball, but the ball says the gift of prophecy.
Yeah, that's it. I was fucking howling.
Yeah.
But yeah, great. Well, I've already said what I thought. So, what did you think? Like you already teased a little bit that you liked it, but maybe you can go a little more in depth.
Okay, so I do want to say this, from an aesthetic point, I never doubt that these people can do it great.
No.
Something about the shaders make the entire show feel like it's painted over, and it's fucking beautiful, really fucking pretty. Because it's hard for me to explain, because I'm still dipping my toes in 3D shaders and whatnot. But it is the style of this show. You can almost see the brush strokes that it was like to paint on these faces, but they're all clearly 3D. It's really goddamn pretty, and I also told you I was spazzing out every time there was a 2D drawn effect, like they were sliding through the sewers. You could see like the dust clouds under them were actually hand drawn. A lot of fire, especially, was hand drawn. And in the fucking scene, when it was actually Jace and V punching a bunch of dudes, and they were like silhouette hard black to like all these blue effects. Those were all hand drawn on top of that, and I'm like, whoo! I love it when 2D and 3D mix. Like that shit's my fucking like sexuality at that point.
Yeah, I do recall like one of the things that really stood out during your live reporting of this was like every time that there was this mixture of 3D and 2D animations, you lost your goddamn mind.
Oh yeah, I love it. Well, yeah, no, you're right. Wait, I thought the animals were Korean. They're all French. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a French company.
Oh, that only makes me even harder. Like no joke, the French are fucking fantastic. I love them. But yeah, aesthetically, this place is just chef's kiss, amazing. I guess we talk about like the best shot scene in the entire show, which is like the quick fight between Echo and Jinx.
Yeah,
where like I wish I brought my notes, but it's in like the other room and I'm too lazy to get it.
You took notes?
I took little bullet points about what like my favorite parts were. Yeah. I wanted to be prepared for this, but it's like so Echo and like Jinx are like having a stare down, and Echo has like this little clock going back and forth because he's got this whole. I think in the game he's got this whole time shenanigans mechanic with his character. I don't really know, but he's gonna be my main in like the game regardless.
Apparently he can go back in time.
Yeah, so that's why the whole that was the whole deal with the with like the watch thing. It wasn't like it wasn't explicitly stated in the show, but like you can tell he had the time motif anyway. Anyway, while like before the fight happened, we saw like a really gritty flashback, and I don't mean gritty as in like violence. I mean gritty as in like grainy cameras and shit. Of like when the
groundy art style thing is maybe like a little bit of like groundy brush strokes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Groundy brush strokes. It's basically like the animation is like it's kind of like if you were blocking out the scene in 3D. You're like not making any of the in betweens or tweens. It's just you just have like all the stills of the kids running towards each other. Like Echo's like has a little sword. He's running towards Jinx, and Jinx is throwing paintballs at it, and it looks like they're having fun. And Echo gets basically like shot in the chest a bunch of times because like Jinx is a great fucking shot. And that's where our kids. You see how like even as a kid, Jinx was way better than Echo. But then like the flash forward happens where in real time the animation's super fucking smooth and crisp. The music stops. You see Echo do the same maneuvers except not get hit this time, and he fucking wails Jinx in the head. Yeah. And I'm like, oh. I think the way you said it is like, oh, that's a cool scene, but I wish we could see the fight. Oh, I get to have both!
Yeah, like, I remember when I was seeing that, I was like, okay, I like what they're doing here because it's very much like showing like that they have fought before, and it's such a cool contrast to then show them play fighting with them now fighting for keeps for real as adults. And then, like, as you've seen this fight, I'm like, oh, but I actually really want to see, like, this really cool fight between these two adults now. But I guess I can settle for this cool animation of them being children, and then you just get both. It was like, you didn't have to spoil me like this, but I'm glad you did.
Okay, I see bring up Victor. So, I don't know if we're gonna do like a whole summary of the show. I don't know, but like we're just gonna talk about our favorite parts and just go back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until the end of the series that at the end of the show that Victor and Jace were actually champions for League of Legends.
Yeah.
You just don't look at that.
I found out the moment where Jace picks up a hammer. It's like, okay, that's a little too ultra specific to not be a champion. But Victor, I honestly didn't know until like maybe one of the last episodes, and that's only because Brent told me so. Okay,
so what actually tipped me off, because before, like a lot of the times before he even got the suggestion to make weapons, like Jace had all this like hammer iconography. in S.H.I.E.L.D. For some reason, I thought he was like Braun, which is like the one champion with the Poro and the big fuck off shield.
Yeah.
Or like the Demacia guy, the spin to win meme guy. Like, I vaguely know Lowell, but I don't know Lowell. But basically, like, I thought he was like related to them. I didn't know he was like a champion until after the series ended. But Victor, apparently, he doesn't look like that in the game. He looks like a huge mutilated thing.
Yeah, like a cyborg, super fucked up dude.
Which I guess is what we're gonna see in the next season when it happens. But it was actually kind of funny. I was talking to my friend who like plays LOL really hard, and like she told me, "Oh yeah, so Jace is a champion fucking sucks, and nobody ever played him. But since Arcane came out, everyone's changing to him to be his main for some reason."
That's the best.
Yeah. Victor apparently was good, so people use him, and now his usage spiked up a lot more, because, V, Caitlyn, and Jinx, everyone want to use him, because, they're fucking waifus. Victor's a transhumanist. Yeah.
I will say, like, Caitlyn, when I saw art and stuff of her from League of Legends, because obviously there's been this whole thing of, like, Project L, which is that fighting game of League of Legends that is about to come out. And so obviously, me being me, I go on to the League of Legends website and I just start going through all the characters going, how would this person play? How would this person play? Do I want this character? And all that stuff. And so like when I initially saw Caitlyn, I wasn't really sold on her, but the show really just helped making me love her. And I don't know like how they did it, because she never really does anything like super cool or like or displays anything that is like out of the ordinary. I just really like, I think I liked her because she was the way that the show, and we talked about this, is that in the beginning when you first see her like investigate or something, they make her super competent without making everyone else around her look incompetent. And that, I feel, is a very hard thing to do as a writer, because you as the writer actually have to outthink the audience in a way, and she does that, and I was like, okay, I fuck with this.
Okay, so here's where Cloudy's gonna make the hot take that makes everyone mad.
Okay.
I think that Caitlyn was really underutilized in the show. Because, like, I'm gonna agree with you super hard that, like, her like, beginning, where they, like, showed her and how she was, like, really smart and a really competent detective, that was brilliant. I think, like, the example I use in my live update is, like, oh, she's doing the Sherlock thing. And I know, like, this happens a lot in modern Sherlock movies or, like, Sherlock shows, where you'll just sit down and you're gonna see, like, messages and words fly up off the page where you're gonna like see a visual representation.
Oh my god, I fucking saw a clip of that, and it was the funniest thing, because I think it was one of the last episodes or something of the show, and there's just all these dumb fucking sound effects. Yeah. Like, you just hear like stock sound of dog barking, then of a horse neighing, and then like
it's like, so like Caitlyn did that, but it was toned down in a way to make it seem like visually cool and narratively fluent.
It's something you can imagine her doing on the scene rather than like standing there for like half an hour and just like.
Like, no, I'm going to say, like, the really dumb scene in Caitlyn's scene, like, narratively, they serve the exact same purpose. It's just Caitlyn was done a lot better, a lot more visually, and it, like, because that was our first instance of her, it showed that she is competent. But what I really don't like is that after that point, when she actually goes in to, like, bust V out of jail, her character kind of went into nothing.
Yeah.
Because, so here's my problem, and, well, not really my problem, but it's like, here's my biggest observation. V is the reason why everything wrong happens in this show. Yeah. Everything. And, like, that's entirely within her character. That's entirely within her right. But if V was not there, actively, I think a lot of the problems could have either been mitigated or brushed under the rug.
Yeah.
To start from the beginning, the whole reason why they went to go steal from the place was V's idea. Mm-hmm. I even said, like, one of the shit I was pissed off about, like, she brought in, I forget what his fucking name was, the crazy hair guy, to do the lockpick. It's like, hang on, so I'm the only one here who knows how to lockpick, so it's gonna take a little minute. And V just kicks down the fucking door. And, like, that's meant to show that V's a badass and she's not gonna fucking, like, get in the, like, she's not gonna take any shit. But at the same time, I'm like, you're doing a stealth operation. Why the fuck did you bring him along if you're just not gonna lockpick? And, like... No, you go ahead. Interrupt me. Go ahead.
I will say, like, I'm thinking about that whole thing of V, like, being the cause of it all, and for the most part I actually do agree. But what I kind of sort of like is that, like, again, like the chat is kind of explaining, like, you can keep like passing the buck because, like, oh, we wouldn't go robbing if Echo didn't give them the tip or something like that. But I think the whole thing is that the narrative, and this is another kudos I'm actually gonna give Arcane, is that the narrative only works because of V and Jinx being, well, like, being who they are. They are both the reason why things are going as they're going and I'm even going to say, to a certain extent, in equal sums. And I think that's very interesting that you then get to see both sides.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I honestly agree with you. Like, I'm not saying that's a wrong thing where you have one person be the cause of everything. That's actually not an issue.
No, not at all.
I just find it funny how much I can actually blame V for, like, anything that I could, like, you know, I can just blame V for everything. But, like, it's not done bad at all. It's actually done really goddamn well. Like, V never really learns to, like, stand down, talk her feelings, or listen to anybody. But that's just who she is. She is, like, to her core, she's a fighter. She does not want to, like, sit down or stand down to anybody. Even to, like, the only time she, like, tried backing down a little bit was to Jinx. But because she did, she never really told her feelings to Jinx. She never really sat down. She, like, exploded on her after she found out she killed everybody. But, like, I don't know. I'm really... I wish I had my fucking notes. I don't have them right now. But it's because my thoughts were more coherent on paper. But I mean, it's like...
I can hold down the fort if you want to go get them.
To just basically, like, sum up everything, she fucks up, but it's done so fucking well, I love it. Like, it's so believable. Her fuck-ups aren't because she's stupid. Her fuck-ups because they're just genuinely such a part of her character that we wouldn't have anything. Like we wouldn't have this story if it wasn't for V.
Yeah, V is talking to the lockpick guy, and what Jinx hears is that you're right, Jinx doesn't know what the fuck she's doing, and then what Jinx doesn't hear is that she then elaborates on it, but where she goes, hey, but you don't know what the fuck you're doing either. It's like, that's very much of a part of her, of like setting up things and then like expanding on them. Her launching out at Jinx after the death of the dad. I you know me, I'm horrible with names. Like, that is her hot-blooded nature. So, like, there's none of this that is like the story happens because they're dumb. It's not
unbelievable.
No, it happens because the characters act like the characters should, and I think that's a testament to good writing in this case.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, you can only really call a character dumb if they do something out of character, and V had never broken character once. I will fight to the death to say that V is like a root of all the problems in this show. But if she did anything different, then she wouldn't be V. Yeah. That's what I'm basically trying to say.
But to kind of circle back, because we were talking about Caitlyn, and I actually do agree with you that at first, when we are first introduced to Caitlyn, she's really, really cool. But then after she like helps V out of prison, she kind of becomes nothing. And I think like at that point, she just becomes an extension of V. She's the one that is sort of there to guide V in a direction where her character alone would not normally go, if that makes any sense.
To be honest, the whole I don't agree entirely, because I think Caitlyn's only role was to like actually provoke Jinx of all people, because the whole conflict between Jinx and V was that Jinx genuinely believed that V replaced her own sister with somebody from the north, from like the
upper crust.
I was gonna say the north side, but I'm like, wait, no, that's not the word they use. That's the word I use. But it's basically the north side folk, the front side, the upper crust. Jinx basically replaced her own sister with the enemy, and like because V never fucking explained what the hell was going on to Jinx, or because Jinx just misunderstood everything, because she's a traumatic wreck. Of course she's not going to see everything clearly at first. But like, because there wasn't this communication going around, she just immediately assumed that Caitlyn was Jinx's replacement, and that's what like spurred that like rivalry. Caitlyn was only there just to make Jinx angry, which made me a little bit upset. Yeah, because like Caitlyn could have done a lot of cool shit. There was like one scene I had an issue with, one in the entire show, and that's when Caitlyn gave up her sniper rifle to get medicine for V.
That was what, like, she gives that thing up way too easily.
Because I'm like, you could have done anything else. You could have, but like when you gave up that, we had a whole scene where it showed she was like she's a crack shot. She and like the Hispanic lieutenant lady were really good at like firing snipers, but it was like implied that like Caitlyn didn't actually win. She wasn't the best sniper, even though she's really goddamn good. And we could have had like a scene where, you know, where they were on the bridge and like Caitlyn was ambushed next to Echo, or like when they were ambushed by the firelights. So like you could have like get a shotgun and like start sniping down people, and things could have done really well. But instead, she kind of like hung around to the back, just waiting for someone to drop the crystal so she can grab it.
I don't think that could happen, because that way she would be turning her gun on cops, and I think that Caitlyn is so morally good that she would never do such a thing, even if they started firing at her first.
Okay, maybe not like the ambush there.
No, but like she could have shown her expertise in shooting. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but like my point with that is like she kind of didn't do anything. She gave up her like one of her defining character traits. What, like it's not all of her character, but like her giving away the gun was like me seeing that she's giving up a part of herself in this story. She's not going to be as important anymore. It's going to be the Jinx and V show, and Jason Victor to an extent. So Caitlyn's just kind of But again, like the disappointment aside, I do think like she has like one of the strongest introductions in the whole show.
Oh yeah.
I just feel like it really didn't get resolved in this part of the season, which is a bit of a shame.
I will add. So I still maintain that after she breaks V out of prison, she does feel much more. I will maintain that I believe that she just feels like an extension of Vi, or however you want to say it. But with interspersed with random points of her acting in a way that serves the plot, and I think that's why I am not as much fond of her after her initial introduction, because like we talked about before, Jinx and Vi can like guide that entire plot by being their characters, whereas it feels more like Caitlyn doesn't have a definitive character and is more there to serve the plot and the other characters. And I think that really becomes apparent, again, as you say, when she gives up the gun. I think it would have been a lot more, like you could have done more with the scene with like having that flashback where she finds out that the Hispanic chick was better at her than shooting. If that flashback maybe happened as she was standing there muddling over whether or not she should give her gun away. Like, or her turning to like initially declining and then give her a moment to like walk around and actually think about this. But the fact that she just like, oh, I need your gun, and then she goes, no, I don't wanna, and then okay, and like hands it in like less than a minute. I think that like I know that there's stuff that you have to do with like pacing and stuff, but you could absolutely have done more to that scene rather than just I'm gonna give it.
Seriously, yeah. Like it would have been nice to see her like barter a little bit instead of just like giving it up, because it's, or you know what would have been a good place to also put that scene, like if she had that flashback while she was like caught up by the when like, you know, the ambush happened on the bridge.
Yeah.
And she's like suddenly like going through that Rolodex, like imagining like, do I actually belong here? These people are fucking assholes or shit like that. You could have done a lot of things. I just think Caitlyn was a bit fumbled. But that's just my main gripe with the series. I will
also say that. Okay, go on, because I was about to switch.
I will say, like, the funniest thought that came to my head after the season was over, it was like, you know what would have been the optimal play if V and Caitlyn were a lot more gay? Because you know what would have cleared up the misunderstanding between V and Jinx? Because like Jinx saw Caitlyn as like a sister figure. But I'm just saying, if V and Caitlyn just were openly just making out with each other and Jinx saw in, she wouldn't be like, oh, my sister didn't replace me, she just found a girlfriend. That's nice. She saw Caitlyn as like V's new sister, not V's new girlfriend. If she was her girlfriend, she wouldn't feel replaced.
I will say, like, I'm not gonna give you that one. I think that's like a pretty bad criticism.
It's not real criticism. It's more of a joke.
Yeah, okay, I get you. Like, if they just started scissoring right then and there, then like things could absolutely go, you know what? Maybe this isn't sisterly love.
Yeah, exactly. But no, but I just find it funny because like a lot like that whole plot line happened because Caitlyn was there. But if Caitlyn was just more openly gay, maybe Jinx wouldn't have read it as sisterly love. But I'm just saying as a joke. But maybe not as a joke. Who knows? Maybe I want more openly gay characters. Who knows? But again, I don't know. That's mostly a joke because I know ever since this thing came out, there's been like a huge push for Caitlyn V /V pairings happening in real life. I know the art for that scene has been exploding because of this series. Try to control your wood boy.
I sure don't mind more of that art because don't know if you know this about me, but I like girls who can push me through a table. V can sure do. So I have this rule that I work with, right? I want a girl who can put me through a table, be it with muscle or weight.
Oh yeah.
So V, big up there for me. Like her, just like I keep bringing it up. The introductory scene with her where she's in the prison in like that wife beater, and you see like the tattoo popping out, or tank top if you want, like popping out under the tank top, and she's just bare knuckle punching the wall. Is like, okay. Oh, this is I can't believe they made a character for me. Like a less flavored character. Who would have thunk it?
God.
But what I actually wanted to talk about is something that Brent actually also pointed out, which is that I would say like another character that I feel kind of got done a little dirty is Victor's assistant, who and again, of course, I don't know.
Oh yeah, Sky. Sky, the girl who just existed to die.
I will say that like there was some things in her where it's like, okay, you're going to be used for something. Like, because we don't see you enough to give you like a character, but we do see that there is enough character here for a function, so to speak. And so I figured, okay, he's Victor is going to do an experiment on her or something like that. But then, it turns out that, she just gets fucking absorbed into his leg or whatever the fuck. And it, like, the scene is cool. Don't get me wrong. I think it's really cool. I think it's one of those really fucked up things. And it's also not something that makes you hate Victor because it was out of his control in a sense. But it was just like, I would like to have seen more of her before you tried to give me a reason to care, because I didn't. What I more cared about was the concept that was happening.
Oh yeah, like let's talk about Sky for a bit, because
that's her name?
Yeah, Sky. Oh. The only reason I remember it is because I have a friend named Sky, and I'm like, oh hey, I hope nothing bad happens to Sky.
Oh no!
And then Sky just fucking died. She got fucking Thanos snapped. Cool thing about the scene that's also kind of disturbing. You notice, like, after she dies, the big, like, magical core thing becomes a lot more veiny and muscular. So it's implied that not only did she explode, she got absorbed into the thing, and, like, part of her skin is now part of that as beating heart thing now.
Oh, I didn't notice that. But I am impressed actually that you picked up. Speaking of like picking up on like small details like that, I was actually impressed that you picked up on the frostbite on Jace's mom's fingers in the beginning. I thought that was such a cool little detail.
So here's the thing. I caught an animation error because they were colored in the snow and they weren't colored in the spring. So like, oh my god, the magic must have healed her. But then they showed her afterwards and they had to cut off the fingers. Like, oh, I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
But no, like I noticed it though, because like it's easy to see.
And it's like small, like we talked about it briefly before that, I think, because we were talking about like the chase scene at the very beginning where Vi and Jinx and all the others are like fleeing from the cops, and like the dude falls down from the bridge and he lands on the boat, something like that. Like just like the sheer amount of small little details they keep adding here and there was just freaking great.
Oh, I loved it. It like I said, like aesthetically, the show is goddamn immaculate. Chef's Kiss, amazing. It's beautiful. But all the little details is just what makes me love it. So the good thing about like my friend who's like really into LOL, she actually picked up on a lot of the little references they were hiding in there, and I had her explain it to me while we were watching it, and it was just seeing that my friend get giddy, seeing little references, little nods here and there, like every name had a purpose there. They weren't like made up or something. They were like the Kingdom of Noxus, I think, does mean something. Mel, unfortunately, is not a champion, but people are actually asking her to be, so maybe she might later on. But like,
Mel is sorry.
Oh, Mel, you were gonna say?
No, I was just like, who is Mel? Again, I
said
the names.
Oh, okay. So you remember the chick that Jace was like fucking while Victor was getting magic cancer?
The second hottest character in the entire show, Big Brown. Not Big Brown. Beautiful brown waifu with the gold.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Mel.
Yeah. I want more of her.
Ryan said the new champions won't be from Arcane. Oh, that's a shame. So that's probably a death flag for Mel then.
See, that's why we're not gonna play League of Legends.
Well, maybe she'll be in the background of the fighting game. with her and Jace just doing it in the corner while Victor's dying of magic cancer.
And he trying to study the frame data. Study the frame data of Jace's balls. Like
no, she's trying to make an NFT of Jace's balls.
Oh no.
I'm going back. I was gonna say something. Oh, I forgot my point because I was just laughing about explaining who Mel was. I forgot where I was going with this. Jace, Victor.
I can take it while you think.
Yeah.
I love how and I made sure to bring this up like every time that I suggest a show to people, and I also did it last time on the podcast, is bringing up how you can absolutely enjoy this show without playing League of Legends. And I saw a tweet the other night from the man himself, Hideo Kojima, where he was saying this is one of the best things animated I have ever seen in my entire life. And then he too finishes it off with saying, don't worry, you don't have to play League of Legends. Like, even he is like understanding why people are deterred from playing League of Legends.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's the thing I wanted to talk about. Thank you for reminding me. It's this, and I completely agree. This show does not need any fucking prior LOL exposition. We don't need to know anything. But but if you do, it's just that little extra cherry on top. Because like everything in the world is consistent with whatever lore they fucking made. So if you're really that type, really deep into that LOL bullshit, if you go through skimming through everything, all the little details will go back to something.
Yeah.
And I like that. You don't have to care, or it doesn't matter. But the fact that it is back, that they're doing that much attention to detail, is amazing to me.
There's this comparison that I can't get out of my head, but I think it's one of those things where this is the right way, this is the wrong way. So Apex Legends, don't worry, I'm not gonna make it super weird. Apex Legends is of course in the same universe as Titanfall, and in Titanfall you could get a certain submachine gun called the Car. And so one of the new things they have added in the new season is that submachine gun. And so when they released the trailer for the new season of Apex Legends, there's a moment where one of the characters picks up this submachine gun, and like he grabs it and he holds it up, and I think the shot, and no one is talking or anything, the music is playing, but the shot lingers for like a full second or something. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things where this is done specifically just so people who recognize this gun can lose the shit and pop off without, like oh, I can pop off, and then like still follow the trailer and not miss any of those things. And I think that is the wrong way of doing it. I think the right way of doing these little references and nods is what Arcane is doing, because again, I'm like you. I don't know anything about League of Legends. I don't know anything about the universe or any of the characters or anything like that. Well, I know some of the characters, but that's about it. But unlike you, I didn't have anyone to tell me these, like, oh, this is a thing and this is a thing. So when I was just watching the show, I had no idea that there was references being dropped left and right. I had to, like, look that up online after the fact, and that's how subtle these nods and references and cameos were. I will say that there is that one where Imagine Dragons are just straight up performing in the street.
It's just Imagine Dragons in Lolville. But it's literally just them.
But I will say it's done in such a way where it's like it's telling you about the street life outside. Like, oh, they're street performers. They just happen to be the band who made the intro song that is also playing right now.
That was like the most overt, but it wasn't even that bad because it was a good scene.
And they do things with their looks to make them fit in the universe. Like, oh, we're gonna give them a little like eye patch here, or like a little nuance here, or something, just to make them fit in there. It's not like 1-to-1 the band members. Cloudy?
No. So I'm just looking up like what they look like for myself just to laugh again, just because it was so. They just hit you with that.
Yeah.
While V and Kayla are like running down into like this lower city, and it's great. Fucking hell. I'm also trying to like remember. Okay. So I think one of the live updates, well, like the only reason I recognize Heimerdinger was because he was a character in Tails Gets Trolled.
Oh yeah.
And I was losing my fucking shit.
What is it? Timo? The other dude's
yeah. Timo was in like the storybook, and I'm like, oh, it's that fucker.
Yeah, and I remember him because he's also in Tails Gets Trolled. He's there for like one spread or something where he gets put in the fucking cannon and shot into a mountain, and then he's dead, and then we move on.
Then we move on. Oh, wait. Okay, so I'm looking through the notes I sent you, and like I think my favorite one was I saw a Yordle who I think she was like the brothel mistress, like the head of the brothel. And I said, whoa, those are like some saggy ass tits. And then there's like a scene later on where she's actually an important character, where she talks to V about like, hey, here's where you can find your sister. It's like, don't mention it. Like, Return of the Saggy Tits!
Return of the Saggy Tits.
It's just little shit like that, where like, you don't expect little things to be important, and they end up becoming important. Oh, I love it.
No one expects the Saggy Tits.
Nobody will ever expect.
It's like the Spanish Inquisition. There's a scene that keeps popping up in my head whenever I think of Arcane, and that is the scene where Jinx finally lights the flare. I think that scene was given all of the gravitas and attention and love that it deserved. Because it's all like it's a scene that has like you know, in terms of plot, it has a good meaning there, but it's also like thematically a very strong scene, because I think this is the first time in her adult life where Jinx is actually calling out for help, and it's been given this much weight and importance because it is so out of her character to do so, and it really highlights this vulnerability. And I was all there for it. I clapped when I saw it. Not really, but you know, it was just really. I
did. Okay, so I guess this isn't really a hot take. This is an ice cold take. Jinx is one of like the best written characters in that show, and I love her so goddamn much.
She's like, was it you and I who had a talk about how like she works because of her like how fucked up she was? I believe we had a talk about like we really dove into like the specific wording of why she worked.
We were talking about this because like I told you after the series was over, like I was expecting to just be dunking on Jinx the entire fucking time, because I told you I really hate the Harley Quinn archetype.
Yeah,
specifically like the modern takes of it, where she's crazy just to be crazy. She's insane because insert mental illness here. Like, I think what works with Jinx for me is that she's all these things despite her mental illness. Like, she's clearly got schizophrenia. She's got voices in her head talking to her. She's seeing, and like her doubts are manifesting as like the voices of her dead friend she fucking killed. But usually, in like other media, and like I'm gonna use Harley Quinn as an example, like from the Jared Leto movie. I'm forgetting what it's called, but like the mental illness is used as an explanation for why she's doing things. I'm a crazy bad person because I'm depressed or I have autism or I'm schizo or something.
I think you're
like
thinking Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, thank you. It's but like a lot of like lesser writers will like use mental illness as an example of how to make an evil, crazy character. Jinx despite the fact she has schizophrenia, that's not the main reason why she does the things that she does. She does things because she's been through really specific trauma. We saw her go through that shit. We saw her when she was at the brink of death, when we thought Silco was gonna fucking take her, like, kill her. She got taken in. She was given, like, as much as we talked about Silco being, like, the best fucking character in that show, like, really showed that, like, all Jinx really wanted was, like, a place to fucking belong. Yeah. And the one person she had, she's having these conflicting feelings, like, maybe she doesn't care about me, even though I've been pining for her for so long. Yeah. Like, she's a dramatic character and a traumatic character. She's really well fucking done. And she's not, and you kind of forget that she's fucking insane. Because she's just done so well. She's
bad not because she's quote unquote evil not because of her like mental illness, but she still has that, and I think that's like the deciding factor. Whereas Harley Quinn is like she's evil because of mental illness, and I think and that's almost like I feel that is a disingenuous way of treating people with mental illness. We like I know several people who have some sort of mental illness that doesn't necessarily make them evil. So like I think that's what worked for Jinx is that like, yes, she absolutely has schizophrenia and probably more in that bag, but what makes her the tragic character that she is the trauma that she goes through. And and I will also say that her mental illness probably plays a role in some of this trauma, like her perceiving Caitlyn as Vi's new sister. Is like Jinx, she can't become her sister. It's not just something you become. It's kind of like it comes from birth, sort of thing. I mentioned it to you, but I almost feel bad now calling her Jinx. Like, it feels like I'm insulting her every time I say it.
Oh, yeah.
They really nailed home why that word was bad.
Yeah, definitely. Like, they even foreshadowed when they first called her Jinx when she was still called Powder. I'm like, oh, you're a Jinx. Fine, I guess fuck you. I'll be a Jinx then. Yeah. It's just so goddamn well done. Everything about Jinx, I love. I had a complete role reversal where, like, I was expecting to, like, just eat up whatever Vi was gonna do, and I was gonna, like, dunk on Jinx for being poorly written. And I, like, completely flipped. I love everything Jinx did, and the way she was portrayed, and how we got to that point. Everything about her was so tonally consistent. You know how I keep dunking on V for, like, because the way she acted, we wouldn't have the plot we had. That's my feeling with Jinx, but, like, I completely agreed with her for most of the shit she was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, she's, like, the best written character with mental illness I've seen in popular media so far. I haven't seen a lot, but, like, she's, like, my favorite example, and she will be my go-to from now on.
I think that's fair. And I think it's interesting because, like, I can 100% see where you're from, but, like, my boner for her aside, I'm Team V. Because, like, yes, I see, like, she does some bad things, but at the same time I can see, this is a character that very much, like, wears her heart on her sleeve. So when she when she I mentioned it to you where I actually really liked how she straight up decks Jinx in the mouth. I don't like I think it's like I pity Jinx for getting punched in the mouth because that shouldn't happen, but I like that they went so far to show just how distressed V was at that moment.
Honestly, no, I will not disagree with you. That was such a good fucking scene, and, like, it set off everything in that one punch, and I will say I loved it.
Yeah, because
he was amazing in that.
Because, like, you have seen that she's willing to go through fucking fire and ice for her sister here, and so when she not just pushes her, but straight up fucking haymakers her in the fucking jaw like she owed her money. It's like, oh, Jesus. She is big upset in the spaghetti here. And
really big.
And like they did a fantastic job prior to that to excuse why she's so upset, I would say, because shit got dire real quick, real fast due to Jinx's actions, which and it's one of those things where Jinx did it with the best intentions in mind, and there's no way she could have known it, and it's one of those things where like she is in the wrong, but not intentionally, and there's nuances to it all, and I think that's why it's so interesting that I can be Team V and you can be Team Jinx, but we could basically agree on almost all of it.
I know, that's how you make a good fucking show.
Yeah,
we're not like dick fighting each other right now. We're not trying to like die for our waifus. No, we both like our characters for very specific reasons in the story. We both can agree it's done so fucking well for everybody. But I will say this: V's fight scenes are always so fucking great because like the choreography with all the punches and all the effects and all like the emotions. Oh, when she's just decking people in the face, it's fucking fantastic.
They gave V's gauntlets the exact amount of torque, follow through, and power that they needed. Every time she decked someone in the face and they just got sent flying, it was the exact amount of flying I wanted. And the fight where she has against that cool chick with the scar on her cheek and the sword arm was fucking great. More of that, please. But that leads me into because you know every good thing has to end at some point, and season 1 ended with a really powerful scene. It's powerful. But what really stood out to me was the animation of Jinx firing that rocket launcher, which is some of the prettiest animation I've seen in a long fucking time. Like that is like, do you follow that Twitter account like random Sakugas or whatever it's called? Like that thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That entire scene it could just belong there. It is mind blowing how good that thing is. But for everyone who's seen the show, and if you haven't seen the show, you probably shouldn't be listening to this podcast. But it ends with her firing the rocket at the at the headquarters of these the council, basically. And then it ends, which obviously leads us to season 2, which, from what I can understand, has been greenlit, which is cool, and we'll probably see it in 2 years or something, if that. But what would you like to see in season 2? Because I have my own thoughts, and I don't think a lot of people will agree with those thoughts. So I want to start out with hearing, like, what would you like to see?
Honestly, I want to see a different champion story. I do not want to go back to V and Jinx after in season 2.
Okay, then we are in agreement. I thought that was going to be like a very unpopular opinion is the word I was looking for. I agree. I think we have told the story of Vi and Jinx. We have set up why they have the relationship that they seem to have in the games, because after the game, after Arcane, Bren basically convinced me to try out Rune Terror, which is the card game, and in that they also have a some banter back and forth. It's a lot more like, we hate each other but we're friends kind of thing. But like, I think that not everything about V and Jinx has been explained, but I think enough has. And I would like if we just completely left. I think the town is called Piltover. If we just completely left that place to go and see somewhere else. Let's see the all these like Japanese style characters, for example. Let's see Yatsuo and Akali or something. Like those are the two only names I remember. Like, let's see them. Let's see the stuff they go through, and then maybe like let's say like Arcane season 2 is probably going to sell for $10 bazillion, because it is one of the most popular animated shows that has ever been on Netflix, as far as I could read. So this is a huge success. If they get to make several more seasons, I would love for them to make it so that you see like maybe 1 or 2 more seasons of just different places in the League of Legends universe, and then the last season is one where you kind of tie up the loose ends from all the different seasons, and then pit all these different champions that has been introduced through the different seasons. You put them in the same season, and now they have to either deal with each other or a common thing or something. Like, you put them in the same show together. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's what I want to see.
Honestly, I've like coined the term fucking the MCU formula, because that's honestly what I want. Like, I want in the actual game itself, from what I understand, like V and Jinx's like relationship, that shit's not solved. They're always going to be like rivals fighting each other, but they have that very close bond with each other. So if we resolved it in the show right now, I don't think it would work, because I think what Arcane does really well, it's amazing as like a prequel series. The reason why you don't need to know a lot about LoL is because all the shit that happened in League of Legends, that's still way, way away in the future. Everything that's happened now is still technically like the backstories of the characters. Yeah. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be 100. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, Lasse. I want, like, next season, I want to go to Noctis, which is like the kingdom where Mel and her granny titties mommy come from.
I'm okay with that.
And I want to see Riven, because she's the only girl I actually know about in this fucking series, and she's from Noctis, and I'm like, I want my goddamn sword waifu now, bitch. Give her. I want my big sword wife.
I can't talk. I think that we can at least agree that it would be really cool to see somewhere else, because this is an entire like Runeterra, I think is actually the name of the universe. I'm not sure, and please correct me if I'm wrong. But like, this is an entire different universe. They have like all these different environments with different cultures, different like weapons and like all this stuff. So I think that it would be very interesting just to leave Piltover, because now we've seen this kind of like gritty steampunk Dishonored styled area. Now I would like to see what does, like, I think the best place to go from here will probably be, let me see an area where magic is prevalent and show me exactly why Heimerdinger feared it so much.
That is also a really good place. That is a really good thing to do too. That is true. The thing is, League of Legends is so fucking huge as like a thing. You can go anywhere and it'll be great. There's enough lore anywhere in the world, or pick any champion to center light, and you'll find a good fucking story to make.
So, but yeah, like if you kind of wanted to have like that little red thread that connected the different seasons, I definitely think that going into a place that actually uses more magic and maybe isn't as technical adept as Piltover is with all the machineries and stuff, that would be like a nice little way to connect the two.
It's reading chat right now, and it looks like Brent has some things to say.
Let me read it aloud. Riven's story could be soon if they're going to Noxus next, which seems to be shaping up after this season of Arcane. The Noxus invasion would also tie to magic because they invade Ionia, the land of magic. Oh, well, there you go.
There we go.
But again, I do want to leave Vi, Caitlyn, Jinx, and all those characters. I kind of want to leave them for now. Because while yes, you can do more with the characters, I would rather see I want to see this thing, this beautiful thing we've seen with season 1 here. I want to see that love and care, that interesting dynamic, this new story told with someone else. There's no big Magic Kingdom out there because they blow themselves up. Well, there you go.
Legends lore has so many big moments that I would love to see it in. So, like, I think that's like that's a special thing about Arcane. It's not a standalone story. It's not its own little mini franchise where we want to like attach to these specific characters. There's already so much going on that you can pull from. If we just focus on V and Jinx and Kate, maybe not Kate. Maybe Kate could have some more screen time. Yeah. But if we just focus on this one area, we'll be doing everything else a disservice, is what we're trying to say.
That's a perfect way of saying it. Like, there's so much to tell, and it would be a shame to focus so much on this one area. Because I think that we've already gotten this personal story. Everything from here on out, especially with Jinx's actions at the end, is going to zoom the camera out to have a more of a, like, how did this attack on the council affect the rest of the world? And if you, like, I don't think you can have much more of this personal drama between Vi and Jinx, because it has kind of reached the conclusion in which Jinx kind of decided, I'm going to be Jinx. There's no more powder, and I'm going to punctuate that by blowing up the council of the place that you were trying to get into, or whatever the fuck.
You know what I love about that scene a lot too? Because like when they were at like the tea party and like Silco basically said, I never would have given you up anyway. So if he was being honest and not trying to just save his life, which first off, really great writing. We can't tell if he's telling the truth or if he's lying in that instance, just because he's Silco. But if he was telling the truth, Jinx probably would have ended up blowing it up anyway.
Yeah.
Because fuck them. Yeah.
But
which I love a lot. It's like, it has so much meaning, and she changed so much, and it's great.
Yeah.
Just, everyone was so well done in this series. Well, you need everyone else to also be done really well too.
Yeah. And but I think like to cap it off, like what I'm trying to say is that where the story with Jinx, Vi, and Caitlyn are right now, it can, like, the actions that has been done is going to prevent it from being a personal drama, because now so much more is involved in the story. And so, like, it and I don't think it's any like big surprise that what pulled us in with Arcane was this personal drama. So I think that this would be an opportune and perfect time to go out and give us something, not necessarily similar. It would be interesting to go a different route, but let us see something else. Let us see someone else. Let us follow someone else. Let us try new things, because as you said yourself so perfectly, this is a huge fucking world. And now that we have, like, and you have told this personal story now. Now it would be a disservice to not take the camera, zoom it out, and show some new people.
Yes. I agree with you 100%. And you know what? I think that's actually the common opinion in this, because I think everyone wants their. I'm looking at the chat right now. Everyone just trying to like assume what the next story arc is going to be. I think no one's expecting to go back to V and Jinx again.
Yeah, which I'm happy for, because it is one of those things where I also don't want more Jinx and V, because I feel that would be the safe bet. Like, these are the fan favorite characters. So of course, for people who don't play League of Legends, these are obviously the fan favorite characters because those are the ones we know. So we're gonna give up on this cash cow? No, we're gonna milk this for all it's worth, and that is just and that is a thing that Arcane didn't show in any sort of way. Was this thing where you can't do this because money? Then, like, I didn't get that feeling at a single point during that entire show. It always felt like we telling this because we want to, budget be damned. And so it would just feel disingenuous to just go, no, let's keep it here because these are the popular ones.
I agree. Oh, okay. Here's like a weird comparison I kind of wanted to make. I don't know if you've seen it, but like, have you seen Squid Game yet?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna like spoil a lot what happened, but like it's been told that series is getting a season 2. It's already been greenlit.
Yeah.
I honestly am dreading that because I feel like you went everywhere you could go with that first season.
Yeah.
Narratively and thematically. Like, what makes me excited for Arcane Season 2 is, like, there's, like, a whole fucking universe to explore. Yeah. If you're given the chance. Like, you've already sold us on the formula. As long as you don't, like, repeat the same characters, you're fucking golden. Whereas, like, I'm, like, hyper excited for that. When it's a game like a Squid Game, I will say that show is like a masterclass in what it's done. I feel like you have nowhere to go except to retread the same stories you went through all over again. It's going to devolve the same way the Saw franchise did. And I'm like, I don't know. Because then it's going to become because like it's only popular because of a big anti-capitalist sentiment. But then, like, when you have more and more seasons being produced super cheap, you're basically, like, defeating the point just by having more series put on top of one another. Like, Arcane will benefit so much more by telling more stories, whereas, like, shows like Squid Game, where it is so isolated, I'm not going to enjoy more seasons of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you watch a lot of new shows, you can tell what shows are good for single story seasons or shows that can go on past that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very great comparison because when you watch Squid Game, it's very much that is a show that is written for a single season. Because you start out with the boys playing Squid Game, you end up with the people playing the Squid Game. You every question you have as to how is this possible, or who are these people, yada yada yada, what is the good in people's heart, yada yada yada. All of this stuff gets explained in the season. I have no more questions. I have nothing more that I need to know. But then the show decides, we're going to continue this. What more can you give me? If I already know everything about the game, the people who play the game, the people who support the game, and even the main character who has gone through a complete story, character arc, what more can you give me? I have everything I need. Everything more you're gonna give me is gonna be redundant.
Yeah. Exactly. Let's like imagine they pull an Arcane, what we want from Arcane. Instead of having a Korean Squid Game, we see an American Squid Game.
Yeah.
That's still gonna be the same fucking shit we're dealing with over here. Because you're still gonna be retreading so much, because like everything's so fundamentally concrete. You can't really like, you will get a different personal story, but it won't be enough because like the universe itself is already so constricted.
There's two things about that. One, if you did decide to make it like, oh, let's see what Squid Game looks in America, then we would lose that entire thing of like the social commentary that Squid Game has, which is a commentary about the wealth and the distribution of it in Korea. And point number two is, if you want an American Squid Game, you can watch Mr. Beast Squid Game, which is far superior than the show, because it only took him, what was it, 2 weeks, and he got... did you fucking see that tweet?
I haven't seen the tweet. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
So you are aware that Mr. Beast made Squid Game, right?
Yeah.
And he basically copied it from the ground up in immaculate details, might I add. Like, kudos to that. I think it's very impressive. And it's cool because, you know, they do all the same games except for the Squid Game, because who actually knows how to play a Squid Game? And then there was, I think it was Castle Super Beast who put it great, which is that every day there's a new main character on social media, and your job is not to be that person. And so, so we got a main character on social media who was this fucking dumb idiot who was like, oh, it took Squid Game 10 years to become a Netflix series, and it earned so many views and so much money, yada yada yada. I don't recall the numbers or the exact phrasing, but basically he sets it up like comparing the show that took 10 years, which it didn't take 10 years. It's just because producers didn't want to pick up the show. Like, it's not that they worked on it for 10 years. And then he compares it to Mr. Beast, who like, oh, it only took him, I think it was 2 weeks or something, to make the sets and everything of Squid Game, and it already got more views. Like, it already is on track to get more views than the original Squid Game or something. It's basically going, hey, Mr. Beast is better than the original, and it's just it's like, yes, he copied it. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's always gonna be easier to copy shit than coming up with like new shit. And this dude has just been fucking dragged on Twitter for all the right reasons. So yeah, that's who I just also wanted to dump ass on this dude real quick.
Oh my god, that's so fucking dumb.
Bet he like, I will bet you anything that he's one of those people who watched that fucking NFT animation show and was like, oh, this is literally a masterpiece. I literally have tears in my eyes. Did you see that?
I saw that and I fucking got cancer from it.
So I know this old movie. It's called Little Pimp. Are you familiar with this movie?
No, you're not familiar with Little Pimp.
So Little Pimp is a feature-length movie that features characters such as Ludacris voicing a horny hamster, Lil' Kim, the dude who voices Dr. Cox, Shatner, like a big list of A-list celebrities, and it's about a little kid who becomes a pimp.
Okay.
It is fucking stupid, but in the best way. This was all made in Flash in the early 2000s. And again, it's a feature-length movie. That looked better than this stupid fucking NFT animation that people are saying that is literally the best show I've ever fucking seen. And like, you take a single look at it, and it looks terrible. Because of course it does. Because if like, I have become so like cold to NFTs at this point that I'm of the firm opinion, if you support NFT, you hate art.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You hate art and you hate artists. There are, and again, it's one of those broad terms because I will say I have seen some legit fantastic art that got sold as NFTs. So of course there's going to be, you know, these unique things, but that is quickly overshadowed by all these like the lion and the monkey and the CryptoPunks and all this retarded shit that all looks like fucking dog shit. So yeah, at this point, I'm just full on. If you support NFTs, you hate art and artists.
I agree, and I also go into the point. It's like you're probably also a criminal because like you're only doing it just for the money laundering. There's no other reason why people get into NFTs. They just want the money. I saw the animation somehow got like loaded with like $1 million for a bunch of NFT crazies.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm happy for the grifters who made it, because they're gonna run off with so much money that they scammed off these fucking idiots, and all these people who sold their house for it, their wives are gonna leave them and take the kids because they sold their fucking house payment for a lion PNG.
Look at us talking about NFTs again. To cap off, I talk about Arcane. Cloudy, on a scale from 1 to 10, where are we at?
So I was about to be funny, and I was gonna say 20 out of 10, but my mouth almost said titty out of 10 because I was immediately thinking of all the tits.
Were you thinking of Mel?
Yeah, I was thinking of Mel. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, Mel's tits out of 10.
Mel's tits out of 10. That is, I agree. Mel's tits out of 10. This was a fantastic endeavor. I will also say that I thoroughly enjoyed Runeterra. I'm probably I'm annoyed with how much I'm getting into the League of Legends universe. However, I am confident in that I will never ever play the actual League of Legends game.
Agreed.
But what is here thus far is really good, really promising, and it's one of the thing about Arcane that I also like is that the people who work at Riot are up there with Blizzard in terms of like scumbaggery. From what I can understand, they are at least better writers. They don't. Okay, I'm gonna bring up a quick thing. Hey, okay, guess what?
Go ahead.
It wouldn't be a fucking Webcast Relief podcast if I don't get to shit talk Blizzard. So, there's a new model of a character called Sylvanas. She's the ghost knight of chick. You've probably seen her. The entire thing about her was that she got run through with the fucking Frostmourne in her stomach, and it was a very, very she's a blood elf. Who gives a fuck? She got run through the stomach with Frostmourne after a sword, and it's a very, very, very thinly veiled allegory for rape. The way that it is written in the books is very, very much like if you take the sword and replace it with a penis, it's like word for word a rape scene. So, and like for what it's worth, it is handled somewhat alright. As alright as you can handle this subject when you are as poor a writer as Blizzard is. So a new model of Sylvanas comes out, and she has a glowing scar on her collarbone that glows in the same way as a normal wound from Frostmourne would do, which seems to indicate that Blizzard are now retconning their favorite fucking word. They're retconning the fact that Arthas didn't stab her through the belly, but instead stabbed her in the heart. So, he stabbed her heart. Oh no, love is lost. Yada fucking yada, right? So you're taking this this very I refuse to think that anywhere in the actual lore that Arthas rapes Sylvanas. No, I'm not saying that Arthas raped her. It's supposed to be one of those things where if you are a rape victim or like someone who empathizes with this, you can look at this and go, wow, Arthas really did a bad thing because like, oh, I simped for Sylvanas because she's so cool. Yada fucking yada.
Oh.
So if they remove that, there's gonna be a lot of people who are angry. But the dumbest reason for this is that it seems like they're doing this because there's going to be a new raid, because of course there is, and in that raid, Arthas is gonna show up as and this is their words, not mine, intermission fight.
Oh boy.
You know, the fucking dude who sat on the Lich King who sat on the frozen throne is gonna show up and be like, by the way, fight in all of this. And I will bet my bottom dollar, we'll have to see how it goes. I'm not gonna play the game because, you know, I don't hate myself. But not anymore at least. But I will bet you anything that they're retconning this to make him stabbing Sylvanas less grim. So Arthas in this raid, because remember what I told you, that your character in World of Warcraft is not allowed to have any significance at all? Like if you're fighting a boss or something, you cannot kill that boss. It has to be someone else who does it. You're going to, so I'm predicting that in this raid, you're going to start fighting this big evil dude. And then Arthas is gonna come and be like, fuck you, and then kill the big evil dude. And you're and they're going to try and end it in a way where you're going to sympathize with Arthas, because he wasn't actually that bad of a guy after all.
Despite the weird rape allegory.
Despite the rape allegory and the, let me look in my notes, all right, the apartheid that was Stratholm. Like, and so that's my prediction. It is, I want to say it's completely unfounded, but we have seen them try again and again and again to take the literal worst character and try and put a little positive spin on it. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. Also, real quick, they 1-for-1 stole a thing from Final Fantasy 14, which makes me fucking giggle. There's this really important stone. I'm not gonna spoil it or anything, but there's this really important stone in Final Fantasy 14. That's a little orange rock. It's a very specific hue of orange. And it's super fucking important. Okay, and then a new screenshot from the new patch of World of Warcraft came out, and the exact, very specific shaped rock is shown here. And yeah, again, like the chat is saying, it's not just like a brick. It's not just a square. It's a very hyper specifically shaped rock. That hyper-specific shaped rock in that hyper-specific color of orange is now showing up in World of Warcraft.
Oh my god. They're trying so hard just to take everything from the people who are better than them.
I cannot stress, like, again, as the chat is writing, with the same detail lines and everything, I cannot stress enough how an exact copy this is. And the worst part, and so, like, I've seen some people going, oh, this is a reach or anything. Need I fucking remind you that Blizzard's is, like, their entire thing, except for Diablo, is stolen ideas from everywhere else. 9 times out of 10, if you see something in Blizzard game, you can track that exact inspiration to somewhere else. So them doing this to the game that has stolen so many of their players is not unheard of, and it's not unrealistic in any shape or form. Oh yeah, Lost Vikings, I forget, but don't worry, Blizzard forgets them too.
Aww.
I used to be
kind of like Lost Vikings.
I fucking love Lost Vikings. I remember I had the game for the PlayStation 1. I got like it pirated, and one of the characters that you could get was like a dragon. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. This was so cool.
Just I can't even say bring me back to that. Just I don't know, have someone steal the license from it and just make a new Lost Vikings without this weird shit.
Yeah. All right, so we got to dunk on NFTs and Blizzard after all. So now we can go into the questions.
Yay! If you guys have any questions, you can send them to webcastrelief@gmail.com.
So if you have like an example of something that Blizzard has stolen blatantly, you can send that to webcastrelief@gmail.com.
That is correct.
Oh, cool. Real quick, the chat is asking, what does NFT even stand for? It stands for non-fungible token.
Basically, yeah. I don't know what fungible means, but it probably has to do with money laundering.
It's something where it's irreplaceable.
Yeah, sure it is. I love how they call it that, even though its biggest issue is just being screenshot so easily replaceable.
It's not even you don't even have to screenshot it. Your phone or whatever device you use to load that image with in the first place saves a copy of it on your hard drive. That is how caching works.
So even even its own fucking name is a lie. God bless.
Yeah.
All right. Question for today comes from Shane O'Brien.
Oh.
And Shane says, Dear Cloudy and Lhasa, great to hear the podcast again. It was fun and interesting that I accidentally burned my arm while having soup while listening to you last week.
What? Oh.
Here's my questions. Shane, be careful. God. Here's my question for the first one. What are your thoughts on the infamous new animation series High Guardian Spice and the buzz around it? Like, what do you think? It deserves the hate, or do you think it's hated for the sake of hating it? Second question. Okay. We'll do the first one first.
Okay.
Do you know anything about High Guardian Spice?
Yes. Not a lot, but I know a little bit.
Okay, so I have not seen it per se, but I have had like reviews of it playing in the background. And from what I understand, the only two characters that are worth a damn are the Latina cat girl and Snapdragon. And they do the thing where they're afraid to put their characters through conflict, because I think the writers are using the characters as not only like a political stand-in, but like a stand-in for themselves, because it's about... I don't even fucking know. It's like half the time they keep muddling half the shit they're trying to say. It's just they're hopping back and forth between political allegories and like self-insert fan fiction.
It does smell far away of the same issue that Les Lindas has, where it's like, this is my wish fulfillment character and nothing bad can happen to them. I haven't seen, like, I need to stress it, like, all these points of view come from people who haven't actually watched the show.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched it either, but I have seen some clips that people have been sharing around, and it looks like absolute dog shit. One of the things that I am most surprised by is one of the clips that I was seeing was, or rather listening to, was one where I think there's like 3 or 4 characters interacting with one another, and every single fucking character you can tell has a different mic. They're not leveled properly, they're not compressed properly, and I know, like, I suck with my audio as well, but I at least, like, I know enough about it that I can tell when things aren't, as they probably should be. It's like Slime Boy's mic is the best. Don't talk shit about. Like, it is. It is sometimes so bad that I could swear on my someone's grave that you can hear background static.
Oh yeah.
So like the moment they turn to that person, you just hear a little faint. Bzzz.
It's awful. Like, here's my take on it. It is really good for like a college thesis project.
But that's not what it is.
I know it's not. Like, if you told me a group of friends made this in like during their time in college, and they like put out the whole series for a fucking project, this would be fucking phenomenal. This would be pretty damn good. This would be you could definitely tell it's like crunchy around the corners, but it's like it's approaching professional quality, like sound design notwithstanding. If it's just a bunch of kids in a fucking room, sure. But like what pisses everyone off is like this is supposed to be like a production, like a professional production
by Crunchyroll, no less.
Yeah. Are you saying it's kind of like Mike and Melissa Cloudy? I'm saying exactly. This is like Mike and Melissa. Are you familiar with that show, Lassa? Do you want to be?
Yes.
Okay, so Mike and Melissa was a college project done by this guy named Mike.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah. It looks foul. It looks awful. It's made by one guy. It's made like almost through like MS Paint or kind of this shit. The whole 20-minute episode about this like guy who's possibly autistic because he wears like a helmet with like fox ears on it everywhere he goes.
That is autistic behavior.
And yeah, and he basically manifests a succubus which looks like a purple skunk girl, and then they fuck, and now the purple skunk girl is his girlfriend. There's also a scene where Mike masturbates, just wholeheartedly, and this was shown in front of everybody in his class.
Oh no! Oh no! What a way to just drop that last part.
It's always comes to mind as like one of the most cursed things you'll ever see. But thankfully, the lady who voice acted Melissa is actually a good professional voice actress now.
Okay.
I can't remember what she's in, but but thankfully that thing did not tank her career.
Wow, I can't believe Kira Buckland helped people like that. Okay.
Like I'm saying, with High Guardian Spice, because it's touted as a whole fucking professional production. It was supposed to be you should have better standards for like writing, animation, sound quality. If this was just an independent project, this would have been whatever. Good job for like a bunch of kids not getting their first taste out of professional production. You could have done better next time. But because it's being touted as this like, original content, this has a big name behind it. You better fucking step it up. And it's just it's really infantilizing, I think is the word I want to use, because it has like a mature rating because they say shit and damn a couple times.
What the fuck?
But there's like no conflict whatsoever for like the first couple chapters, I believe. I want to take a peek at it, see what the hell how bad it gets. But I know it's pretty fucking bad, and everyone's already said everything they needed to.
I'm looking it up. Apparently, it has like fucking like the worst score on IMDb. I think it's like 17%.
Yeah.
Which, that's not good. I'm trying to look it up because I remember that it... yeah, okay, so it got... It began production in 2017.
It's been done for 2 years. They've just been holding on it. I know. I could have. I swear I've heard this be a thing. But like High Guardian Spice actually completed their run when they were set to launch it. They just had to hold it back for a couple years for some unknown reason.
Well, but that's what shocks me, because like it. Besides the horrible audio thing, a lot of the voice acting and, you know, I again seeing clips, they were probably handpicked. There's probably like a lot of good voice acting in there, but the stuff I heard was just like not great voice acting. There was stumbling over words, there was mumbling, there was stuttering and stuff like that. I was like, really? With how long you've been working on this, you didn't have time to do another take? And it's like, if they have indeed been sitting on this for 2 years, or however long you're saying, then I don't really, like, I'm not willing to give them as much as I would normally, because my original thought was like, oh, it got fucked by COVID, so everyone had to like work from home and do the voice acting through their own computers and stuff like that, which can, you know, affect the because then you don't have a producer necessarily there to tell you, no, do it again, or the same equipment for every recording. We have seen with other video games, especially where there's a lot of working from home, either people have their own studio or the company will just straight up send you a kit, so everyone is using the same tools to record with or something. So, but if that hasn't even been like a factor in all of this, then like I can't even give them that pity point. Then it's just like terrible.
One of the voice actors said that the budget was small and production was hell. I can believe that. So, you know, I think it is a thing where I do think that they were sitting on it, but they definitely had a lot of production issues. It was, even if they were sitting on it, definitely the production during it was pretty shit.
Also, just like real quick, if you have a show that looks like this, like it basically looks like a copy of Steven Universe in its style almost. Yeah. Very colorful, the same kind of like the way that they...
Down to the proportion issues.
Yeah, down to the proportion issues. And it's one of those things where if you make this for children, that's fine. That's what gets them. That's these pretty glowy colors or something. They like that shit. But you smack a mature on that? Like,
it's literally just because they say shit and damn a couple times.
That shouldn't give you a mature rating. That should give you like a 16 plus is what we call it in Denmark. I don't know.
Americans are weird.
I'm reminded. So I'm gonna do a poll here. Do you remember that anime of like an angel who hangs out with this boy, and every time that she gets like shy or something, she smacks him with like this spiked club, and he just fucking...
Oh yeah. I know that one. I'm trying to remember the name of it too. Fuck.
And he go on. And he just hard dies every time. Like, they have this cutesy, colorful moe style, and then use that to their advantage to make these gruesome deaths all the more silly and fun. If they did that with this, then, you know, fair is fair. But I doubt that they're doing that.
Dokuro, that's her name. Dokuro.
I actually have a physical copy of it.
Oh, that's fucking amazing!
Oh, let me find it real quick.
That's like a blast from the past. you go up and head. I want to talk a little bit about Hardcore and Spice. Okay. So, I think, like, part of the mature rating happened was because, like, aside from, like, the shit and damn, there's also, like, weird scenes where they just straight up stab people for no fucking reason, or the timing of it is so fucking random. It's like, oh, why the fuck? You didn't have to stab. Okay, I guess. All right. But, I seem to very recall a long time ago, before High Guardian Spice came out, one of the production staff members from High Guardian Spice ended up in Rooster Teeth as a production staff manager for RWBY. And I only knew about this internally because I had a friend who used to work on it. They're no longer with RWBY anymore. But they told me that this person came in and told her that her only credentials was that she was a production manager on High Guardian Spice. And the moment she took over, it was the worst time they ever spent working at Rooster Teeth.
God damn.
I feel like I've gone on record saying I do not like the production staff at Rooster Teeth for the animation division, but like I was told from person working as an animation staff there on RWBY that a production staff manager from High Guardian Spice went to that production staff and made everything actively worse. So if shit in RWBY got bad there, I can only imagine how bad it was during High Guardian Spice. So, like, the people running it don't know what the hell they're doing. No. Which I can believe.
And it's one of those things where,
allegedly.
Like, looking at this from the outside, it very much feels like it's a show made by people who were passionate about anime and creating their own animated series, but didn't know what they were doing.
You know, I'll be completely honest with you, Lassa. If they called it a cartoon and tried to put this on, like, Adult Swim, I think it would have been received a little bit better.
I actually think you're right.
Yeah, because it's definitely bad. But it's like, it does not have that, like, Adult Swim charm of, like, just, you know, stoner hour at 3 a.m. crazy bullshit. But it definitely feels way more American than, like, you would any typical anime. Like, there's a legitimate argument to call Avatar: The Last Bender an anime because that shit feels specifically Eastern. Well, this definitely feels like an American cartoon they want to put on Crunchyroll and call it an anime.
Yeah.
Like, I know weebs are super hyper mega defensive about what is or what isn't considered anime. And considering this is from a studio that, like a company that's supposed to give money back to, like the reason a lot of people gave money to Crunchyroll in the first place was because they thought the money was going to go back to, you know, Japanese creators, Japanese staff. Because Lord knows, we can tell you, trying to get paid for anime is a horrible, horrible life. But you don't get paid much when you're working anime.
But aren't they just, like, paying them, like, the worst fucking amount possible?
It is basically slave labor. I will be honest with you. I love anime.
I think someone actually made, like, some calculation that you can find online where it's like, if you actually gave the money from ads on, like, anime.to, you know, like those illegal streaming sites, if you gave the money from those ads to the animators, you would be paying them like 6 times the amount that they get from Crunchyroll, and that would be with the amount of money for the translators and the website upkeep.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, that's honestly true. Like, so, like, I want you to know that the perception when they made Hard Guardian Spice, because they call it an anime, it's pretty bad. It looks really generic. It looks like, toppled on top of all those things that we don't like about Hard Guardian Spice, you add on top of it that money that we were expecting to go to one place went into there, just, like, soured it. I'm going, so, like, to answer Shane's question, I do not think it deserves all of the hate, but I do think it is pretty fucking bad on its own. Yeah. But I do say a lot of the hate is justified for different reasons, but definitely there are a lot of people hating on it just to fucking hate on it.
Yeah, like I think I'm gonna piggyback off of that as well. I've seen a huge amount of hate for this show, and like from what little I have seen, I do not think it deserves that, but it absolutely does deserve a lot of very valid criticism, which there's plenty to give.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think that's basically where we can go with it. It's like it's bad. Definitely, there's a lot of like people just trying to shit on it for dumb fucking reasons, but it's also there's a lot of valid criticism to go around on top of that. It's wrong people get criticism for the show being like this.
I think that's one of the things that like this is gonna segue into a different topic, but it's something that I feel very strongly about is that when The Last of Us 2 came out, and I remember you and I we actually talked a lot about it, despite you haven't played it.
I haven't played it and I don't intend to.
No, but you, I remember it because like you had seen the spoilers.
Yeah.
And so I hadn't seen the spoilers. I was trying to go in like as unbiased as possible. I did know one of the things, but that was about it. But I had seen like a lot of as I was like getting closer and closer to it, I ended up just being like, okay, I've been spoiled enough. Let's just see what is all this stuff about. And there was a lot of stuff about like, oh, this happens and that happens, and like, oh, Abby, one of the characters in the game, is actually trans, and like all this stuff. And I was like, that's not the case. And don't get me wrong. Last of Us 2 has a lot of stuff to criticize. It is not very good in terms of narrative. Gameplay is fine, but in terms of narrative, there's a lot of big fucking issues. And there's a lot there to criticize. But the problem is that people have now kind of like tainted the well by criticizing all these things that are simply not true. Like, oh, this happened and that happened, when it doesn't. And that makes it so hard to actually give valid criticism to the game, because it's just gonna get, like, it's not as sexy and juicy as this made-up bullshit, but what you have is actually valid criticism. And I feel like that's what what High Guardian Spice has been on the receiving end of as well, is that I think a lot of people have been like bitching and moaning about things that aren't necessarily true, and when there's so much criticism about made up bullshit, it makes it so hard to actually be the one to come and give legit criticism. And then I don't, from what you tell me, it doesn't sound like the people who made High Guardian Spice are going to listen to criticism, because these feel like people who don't like any conflict or something, so they're just going to put their hands on their ears and go la 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 la.
Basically.
Yeah, so I don't think they're necessarily going to listen to it. But every time that I give my criticism or something in my show, at least, I always like to do it with the intent of the person who makes the thing to get feedback that they can then look at and then like work on if they so desire. And you can't, and so if you start muddying the water by saying all this made up bullshit, how are you, like, let's pretend these people actually did care and wanted to improve from this feedback. How would you do so if all of a sudden you're getting accused of fucking a dragon? Where it's like, there's not even a dragon in the show. What the fuck? Like, you can't.
No, you're right, and I fucking hate it. It's just all these people fucking poisoning the well, or like putting their anger in places that that shouldn't be there. Like, chat brings up a good point. A lot of the voice actors have been getting death threats for being involved in the show, and I'm like, why the fucking voice actors and the artists and the animators go after the fucking writers and the showrunners? They're the one making this shit this way. Like, people don't know how to fucking like channel their anger for shit. They always like they want to like pick apart and hate the wrong things, you know?
it's one of those, like, I definitely feel, again, there's definitely shit that you can throw at these voice actors, because again, I don't think they did a great job in this, but but I can, for the fucking life of me, not understand people who give death threats. What are you trying to accomplish?
So it's like do you know with the Star Wars that like Asian chick? It's like that, where like they don't care about her performance. They care about what her character played as. So die.
You mean like Octopimp, who played the fucking stalker in that dungeon game or whatever the fuck it was?
Yeah, that exactly.
Who got shit for playing the bad. But yeah. So death threats not helping. Stop it. You are a child. Yes. What's the next question?
Okay, next question. Do you think that they might have a chance for Spoonie to come back from where they are now, or do you think there's no saving Spoonie?
So, one thing I can say with utmost certainty is that Shane just woke up and chose violence. with these questions. Holy fucking shit. No. Spoonie is a relic. Spoonie is a thing from a time where this thing happened to excel alongside him. And he kind of like a helix, kind of like a double helix, kind of intertwine, like cross paths in this growth of the online reviewer. He both piggyback wrote on it, as well as he helped it grow. He definitely had a good footprint on it, but I will also say that it is thanks to that type of media growing that helped him become as popular as he ended up being, because it wasn't necessarily due to his own prowess, so to speak. I say that because as time has gone on, we have gotten to see Spoonie when we are not necessarily seeing the video game reviewer or the online critic or something. And we realize that it's not enough for a man to just sit on a couch and get drunk and shit talk wrestling for 45 minutes. There was a time where we could get that. I still remember fondly like watching the vlogs of Spoonie on his website when he was talking about the Twilight series. That was some of the funniest shit ever, but that was because like it was a person who cared about it, and he was a person that like, oh, he's one of these guys, so it's funny because I know the context of which all of the stuff he's saying, like with a lot of hyperbole and all this stuff. But Spoonie doesn't have that energy anymore. He doesn't, and the community doesn't have that thing anymore where where we support online reviewers in this way anymore. And you can also see that with Nostalgia Critic. Nostalgia Critic is basically pushing out the exact same content that he always has, with like more money, but that time is just no longer there. Spoonie also has like a lot of stuff that he needs to make good of. He has a GoFundMe or Kickstarter for a movie that he never did. He has Patreon goals he never accomplished. And from what we've seen, he has become incredibly toxic to basically everyone around him. Because he thrived in a community where it was like, oh, we like to hear Spoonie's opinion because he says what we're all thinking. He's not afraid of saying the bad things, and then he threatened a girl to rape her in a basement or something. And then Lupa stepped in, which I would argue she probably shouldn't have, but like he's a relic. He doesn't belong in this time anymore. and he is a toxic person that was very, very good at what he used to do before, where we embrace this toxic personality as just a character. But Spoonie and Noah and Viola, as is his real name, have merged together to become the same person. And I remember around the time where I started to make like that active effort of distinguishing Riiser and Lasse was when I looked at Spoonie and saw that they had merged, and I realized that like I started looking at my own life and seeing traits of Riiser popping up every now and again when I wanted Lasse to be prevalent, and yeah, he just like he merged with Spoonie and not with Noah, and now we don't get Noah anymore. We just get 100% Spoonie, and there are times where Spoonie just doesn't work. I think that's my final thoughts on that.
Man, so like the Spoonie question was definitely one pitched at you because like I have like the least amount of experience with Spoonie, but like I always think it's fascinating when we talk about like, you know, effects of the persona, the one we put outside ourselves for like an audience, and the person we are in our private time, and how eventually the persona that you put out in front of everybody becomes what you are normally, and it's just not good. Because it's not good to have, especially if your persona is very, not outgoing, but very aggressive, or like very loud and in your face, or like a lot of the reviewers were angry reviewers just because that was the style at the time. But like if that not only becomes your own character outside of the reviews, that becomes pretty fucking devastating.
Yeah, and there's nothing to say that like. It's one of the most like easily understandable things why these personas become the default, because if I put on this persona, I get a bunch of money and love and attention from a lot of different people. Then why should I not don this thing? Because that's what gets me all these things that I like. It makes my little monkey brain go wee.
Basically. I'm just thinking, like, what the fuck does the Cloudy persona look like? Probably a fucking monster.
I will say that when you and I first started talking, there was a lot of... is it called Ebonics?
Ebonics, yeah.
There was a lot more of that than there is now. I'm not gonna go into detail, and I think you would prefer me not to. But yeah. But yeah, I like that. That was the persona there. There was also like a time when the webcastrelief Discord was pretty new, where I think you kind of leaned a little bit into the Inquisitor persona of the channel.
Oh, that was fun, but then I realized everyone's kind of chill, so like, there's no one to like swing the hammer on anymore, except for like weirdos that come in.
Yeah,
I don't know. We like, fuck. I'm trying to think like the last person I banned. I think it was like, oh wait, no, I remember it was.
Don't bring them up.
I won't bring them up, but I'm like, oh yeah, like yeah, they're so. I in the beginning I was very, very, very Inquisitor like, but now. I'm so chill because I don't have to be Inquisitor like. I rarely have to be like, everyone, put on your big boy pants, shut the fuck up. We're moving topics. I don't have to do that anymore, and I think that's good. I don't like doing that all the time. I'm still mad you banned me from spreading my propaganda.
You have made an active effort not to fucking enter the webcastrelief Discord. What the fuck? But yeah, I don't think Spoonie, like, I legit think that Spoonie needs to sit down with someone professional and talk shit out. There's a lot of anger in him. There's a lot of vitriol and acidic behavior. There's a lot of complacency. and we're just like what we liked before was these fun, like him poking holes in things and going in and making observations that not a lot of people actually dared to mention. I remember, like, in my youth, I would hate Final Fantasy VIII because he hated Final Fantasy VIII. But it wasn't just because, like, he hated it. It was more because he brought up points I hadn't thought of myself. So it's like, you know what? When you actually mention all these things, this is actually fucking stupid. And then, you know, like, as I grow older, it becomes less like, you know, like you learn to forgive these mistakes, but it was still like that was what we wanted from him, was these like well observed criticisms of different things, and he would always voice them with hyperbolic jokes and all this stuff and sketches, and I remember like he was typically like the front runner of technology. He was one of the first people I saw with a capture card actually doing let's plays and stuff like that. At the time, people would just record the screen with a camcorder. And like he had this drive that made him stand out from everyone else. He would do green screens before you would see other creators do that. He would he would have these established characters before everyone else started doing all this. Like he was a front runner, and he was like doing all these different things that just showed a passion for it. But then, like, once the checks just kept coming in, and he realized that I actually don't have to do that much work because my bills are still getting paid. He started becoming complacent. We didn't get any more reviews with sketches. We didn't get any more like funny, passionate let's plays like his Phantasmagoria let's play. Instead we got him like a lot more of him just sitting in front of a camera and talking the maddest shit about like unscripted rants about wrestling. Like that's the one that like leaps out to me, because he had kind of set himself up as video games and movies, and then all of a sudden it's wrestling and nothing but wrestling. And these wrestlings, like if you at least like presented it in an interesting way, then I would be all for it. But he didn't. It was just like him sitting, talking, and like that was just not entertaining anymore. So and that's why I always try to keep like introducing new things, like me popping up in the scenes of the webcomics now. Like that's a new thing I'm doing because I'm trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm probably also going to make like a new intro soon for the show. Like I always try to keep things fresh because I genuinely care about it. And I know this sounds very much like I'm shitting on one person to boost myself up, but like I'm just trying to say like where like this is the mindset I have, and is why I am making the criticism I am, because this is my stance.
I also think it's a good stance to have, because at the end of the day, you're not like tearing anyone down just for the sake of it. You are actively trying to learn and improve yourself. And from what I've seen, you've definitely held your own there. You've definitely like done that, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you. It was like I saw that Luke brought up that he didn't even know who it was. Luke, go watch season 1 of the Webcomic Belief, and you will see a bald version of that person, because I basically copied Spoonie's entire shtick back then.
Watch. I'm sorry, I can't think back to watching season 1 and season 2 and not remembering the Private Control review. You were so innocent. You didn't even know.
It wouldn't be as funny if it wasn't also the most watched video on my entire channel by a country mile.
You didn't even know it was a fetish comic.
Okay, before we finish off right now, I'm gonna go and look up on YouTube how many views that video has.
Okay. Like, that review held a special place in my heart, just because you went hard, and you, like, found things to make fun of, and you went for general criticisms on how to make it better, Like, you were so goddamn earnest. Even though you were, like, putting on a gig just to make fun of it. But, like, you just genuinely did not put together that was the thing people just got off on.
No, I did not know that it was a fetish. All right, I got the number here. 262,973 views with 542 likes and 130 comments. Let me compare that to my latest video, Sonnet 2. 2,000 views. Where'd it go away? 2,030 views, 99 likes, and 29 comments. So, I would like to think my content has only gotten better, but people want to see that creepy fetish thing, and I think it upsets me the most that I was sat eating during that.
Okay, so I have a question for you. If the author for Creative Control came up to you, like, today, and they asked, "Hey, Riiser, I think you're really cool. You've totally improved after, like, a decade. Would you review my comic again?"
Absolutely.
Would you? If the creator walked up to you and asked, would you let them cameo?
In a heartbeat. I have bills to pay, Cloudy. See you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.